We're going to make sure we stay healthy during these holiday times when we all get together in preparation for the upcoming holiday season. In-person gathering that even with your closest family and friends, we still need to be conscientious of proper hygiene and immunized to help against respiratory illnesses like the flu, serious lung infection caused by respiratory. This word is like a new word because I always know it as RSV, syncytial virus. So maybe we talk about that and whooping cough, and I imagine COVID also. Joining us today, we're very fortunate to protect ourselves, are Dr. Kerry Perkins, board certified obstetrician, gynecologist, OBGYN. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Okay, I had a mouthful worth of conversation already. And Dr. Sean Leng, L-E-N-G, is that correct?
Yes.
Good, good. Geriatric, was that for me? No. Medicine and infectious disease expert. Okay. All right. So that's right. You have the young, you got the kids, you got the babies, you got older, and then you got much older than me. I mean, much older. Okay. So what should we look for, and why should we be looking for this concern? What is
Because there are quite a number of respiratory viruses, and they are pesty, so that's why we need to be concerned. A common one, for example, is influenza. You mentioned already, which can cause quite actually, a lot of infections each year. But in some, vulnerable population can cause actually life-threatening complications. And others you mentioned is the respiratory syncytial virus, which is RSV. But of course, SARS-CoV-2 virus, which causes the pandemic, is still actually, still around. And others include rhinovirus, which causes the common cold.
uh-huh. Somewhere I read that COVID is more than flu still. So that's a serious concern. Doctor, hold on. Kerry Ann Perkins,
Yes, yes.
please share your thoughts.
Yeah, so I absolutely agree. There are so many things that are out there that could be quite dangerous for our lungs and our respiratory areas. And so when we think of the young children, babies, infants, newborns, we're very, very concerned because the goal is to not be severely ill in our earliest few days and months of life. And so in knowing that there are options available, which is why we partner with Sanofi to talk about some of those options. Well, we want to make sure that we're protecting all those who are vulnerable from the very first days of life until the very last.
Okay, what are some of those options?
So some of those options include things like Beyfortus nirsevimab ALIP, which is a preventive antibody that helps to prevent babies under the age of 1 from RSV, or respiratory syncytial virus. And so this is an option that can help their bodies to reflect, or to prevent, I should say, the severe infection that can come from RSV virus. We also have other options like Adacel, which is Tdap, or tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis protection. And so in babies, we know they can have a pretty severe lung infection called whooping cough, which is what most will be, recognize it as. And with that, these children and babies can be hospitalized pretty severely. And so we have options available. We want you to speak to your doctor, know what else is on the market for you that can be protective. And we also want you to discuss important things like your medical history. We want you to talk about allergic reactions or concerns for allergic reactions that may be important for you to be informed so that you can make the best and right decisions for yourself and for your family as well.
That includes food choices?
It sure does. Absolutely.
Okay. How old do you think a baby should be before you take them into a family gathering like that, wisely?
That's an excellent question. And you know, my recommendations are first based on whether or not that baby it was a full term. You know, did the mom have a normal pregnancy and normal delivery? Are there any other high risk conditions that we may be concerned about? And so that would be my number one thought. And so if your baby's birth and your pregnancy was completely normal, then I would say probably 3 months is more of a safe zone if there really is one. If we have high risk concerns such as your baby was a premature baby, we know they may need continued support, sometimes up to the first year of life. And so while we don't want to put any child or any conditions into a box, we want to discuss with our doctors what our specific concerns are or specific conditions so that they can help you make the right decisions and help tell you and guide you as far as when it would be safe to be in public or in large gatherings.
And also, everybody should have a wise conscience. I mean, it's conscience, your own personal conscience. You know, if you're at home and you have a little bit of a cold, and I guess you need to think on that. Your whole family, you have young kids, you have the 140-year-old grandparent. And you need to say, should I bring my child to that small gathering where everybody's going to hug and kiss and happy to see each other? That's Lang. How about older people? You know, what's your thinking in regard to that?
Yes, I mean older adults is really a highly vulnerable population, as you said, 140-year-old grandpa. I mean, mostly the geriatric population now in the 80s and 90s. Now, the good news is we do have options in terms of annual immunization, against the flu, for example. So for older adults, the Fluzone high dose is really recommended, for them. And then really the flu immunization can help to actually reduce the severity of the infection and help to prevent the life-threatening complications. Now, we also need to remember, in addition to older adults and other population, Dr. Perkins mentioned about kids. So the Fluzone is recommended for anyone 6 months and older. And then also Flublok is recommended for those individuals 18 years and older. So we have a number of different options for annual influenza immunization. Now, the key message here is we need to remind our particularly older adult population and also everyone else to be updated in this annual influenza immunization. But of course, we also need to look at other conditions. For example, the severe allergic reaction to the vaccine. So the best way is really suggest them to talk to their doctor, and really the annual influenza immunization is the way to go.
Right. And the senior, what is it? I took the senior flu, they called the senior. Is it just more flu vaccine, or what is it? What makes it different than a regular one?
Yes, so the Fluzone high dose, that means it has more antigens in the vaccine. It's actually 4 times the amount of antigen in the vaccine is actually 4 times higher, than the standard dose.
And RSV, which they speak a lot about now, which sounds to me like a newer vaccine. My doctor said I didn't think I needed it. Who needs an RSV?
So the RSV protection really is for those who are either extremely young or those who are old as well, or those who are pregnant. And so we know that, so there's a difference between a vaccine and an immunization. And so Beyfortus, for instance, is an antibody, it's a preventive antibody. And so what happens is that when you or babies get this, they're able to get almost immediate protection against RSV versus having a vaccine, which is available as well, because a vaccine helps your system to become strong enough to protect you possibly from infections. And so there are two different ways that we can approach getting that protection. Both can be just as helpful in all the protection that we're looking for here, but two different ways that we can approach this.
Okay, well, thank you both. You're doing very, 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 very important work. I thank you for becoming doctors and being smart ones. And I thank Santa Fe for, they put a lot of money into research and development and, a prevention vaccine. I mean, that's magnificent. I'm sure it's taken some time to come up with. So, 3, 4, 5, 600 years old later, we'll all be very happy about us taking better care of ourselves. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to share the good news with us. Take care. Happy holidays.
All right. Thank you.
Same to you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.